Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton are going to steal the spotlight from 2025 onwards. However, it looks like the team will have a bit more of a headache dealing with this battle than we could previously have imagined. Nevertheless, the son of Enzo Ferrari, Piero, believes that it's a healthy way of bringing the team back towards its glory days. But with a 7-time world champion and a young but experienced buck in Leclerc, who should Ferrari back in the title fight if they prevail to be competitive for it? Charles Leclerc is welcoming his third teammate since his tenure in Ferrari began in 2019, and this goes to show one thing: the project has always been centered around him. However, apart from Vettel, who was in decline when Leclerc joined the team, Hamilton is definitely the greatest challenge that the Monegasque could have had handed on a plate in front of him. This is why many believe that there will be tons of sparks flying between these two from 2025 onwards, especially if Ferrari turns up with a championship competing car. Hamilton has already made adjustments that weren't easy to apply to the car, such as the positioning of the pedals and the cockpit. Despite the crash on the second day in Barcelona, he is still poised as the greatest threat to Leclerc's championship quest. Piero Ferrari, however, doesn't believe that this rivalry will ravage through his team and leave irreversible scars. He's adamant that it's the best thing that could have happened to the Maranello-based squad after all the trouble they've been through. When addressing the battles awaiting between Leclerc and Hamilton, Piero said, "Of course, there is a challenge for Leclerc to defeat Hamilton. It has always been like this between teammates. It's part of the game. In Charles' case, there is also the generational issue that we are witnessing in tennis with Sinner and other kids, the freshness of the youngsters against the experience and solidity of those who are many years older. I am sure that the rivalry between Hamilton and Leclerc will be able to bring advantages to both. Of course, the words of Vasseur are already established and known among the F1 world. He would rather see his drivers fight it off in the first two positions on the grid than see them pass the checkered flag last. It's a similar scenario that Wolff had to deal with from 2014 to 2016. However, it caused some damage to the team that couldn't be reversed, something that Ferrari needs to be very careful about. As we look into the team's development and the events they are preparing for the upcoming period, it's safe to assume they want to get Hamilton up to date in the fastest way possible. The fact that he missed the 3-day testing in Abu Dhabi for Pirelli after the season ended because of obligations with Mercedes goes to show that the team is now ready to make steps they weren't ready to even think about in the past. 1,000 kilometers of testing over the course of 3 days is probably one of the greatest signs we could get in this direction. Nevertheless, Hamilton is a world-class driver who might not need as much acclimatization time as we believe before he got to sit in a Ferrari car. All eyes are set for the debut of Hamilton and Ferrari on the 16th of March, and Piero has compared the debuts of Lewis and Michael in terms of their appearance in Maranello. These two are arguably the best drivers who have ever raced in the sport, and to have both of them in your team is something that shows the magnitude of Ferrari and the strength of presence they have among the F1 world. When comparing these debuts, Piero said, "The situation was different when Schumacher arrived. He had just won 2 world championships, and there was a lot of pressure. Michael seemed cold to the general public, but with those who knew him closely, he was very friendly. I've always had a friendly relationship that has lasted over the years, but our fans have made a great reaction over Hamilton's arrival. I almost couldn't believe it. All that true passion struck me. The people on the bridge overlooking the Fiorano track, invading the cycle path, were a demonstration of love. Beautiful. I went to greet Hamilton when he set foot in Fiorano, welcoming him. He had seen the fans waiting for him from the car windows, and he was happy, surprised." Of course, the situation is now very interesting because we have the crash from Barcelona that shows Hamilton is putting a lot of effort into trying to learn as much as he can of the car. Despite all of the negative spin that the media has been trying to pin on the 7-time world champion's shoulders, it's not exactly the way it looks. This was one of the worst cars that Ferrari produced, even though it was the only one that won a race apart from the RB21. Hamilton's crash was caused by a bump in the circuit, finding the barriers at turn 12 with a 124 miles per hour impact. With the damage being so severe, Leclerc couldn't have continued the testing session and the data gathering process as planned. The 7-time world champion has talked about the impact that he's had by testing the F175 and the SF23. According to a report by La Gazzetta dello Sport, Hamilton has become familiar with the start procedure and releasing the clutch, an issue that Sainz struggled with a lot. What is even better for Ferrari is the fact that Hamilton has become quite acclimatized with the braking system. This comes from the fact that the team used different discs than those he used at Mercedes. Even though he crashed the car and ended the run early, Hamilton reported very positive impressions to the Ferrari engineers, which means that he found the performance to suit his aggressive driving style and combined it with late braking and carrying speed into the corners. This is pivotal if he wants to improve the one-lap performance and to be as close to Leclerc as possible, because Hamilton is going against one of the best, if not the best, qualifiers on the grid as his teammate. Therefore, if the team is capable of building a car that could be competitive on both Saturday and Sunday, then we are likely going to see a different version of Hamilton than what we saw in the last couple of years in Mercedes, which is exactly what we wanted to see from this transfer in the first place. There are specific aspects and areas in which Ferrari is working with Hamilton, and this was to be expected through the extensive testing time that the 7-time world champion was given ever since his arrival in Maranello. For example, there are weaknesses in the form of tire management, which was one of the greatest plagues in the last couple of years in Mercedes, along with the on-lap performance that Ferrari is trying to fix with Hamilton. Unlike him, Leclerc will likely work on some other aspects that would broaden the scope for the Maranello team. A great challenge that Hamilton would have to tackle is the age allegations that are coming from people like Felipe Massa and Ralf Schumacher, the former Ferrari driver and one of the fiercest rivals that Hamilton had in 2008. Massa believes that age is going to be a great problem for the 7-time world champion, because he will find it extremely hard to keep himself fit and ready for the season and has 24 races while fighting for a championship. This might be one of the reasons why Hamilton brought Angela Cullen back to his team, and it's yet to be seen whether his age will affect the performance in the Maranello squad. The battles between Leclerc and Hamilton will definitely be a masterpiece to watch, because both of them will have a lot to prove in front of their superiors. Hamilton is facing allegations that he came to Ferrari to retire on a high note and fight for something more than the midfield, while Leclerc would have to prove that he is the next champion of Ferrari and that he is going to change his friendly approach with his teammates that he's had until now. He did give us a hint about that last year in Las Vegas when the incident with Sainz happened, and it's yet to be seen whether or not he can capitalize on that when the tires hit the asphalt and the lights go out. So, who do you think will come out on top in the Hamilton-Leclerc rivalry? Can Ferrari finally reclaim the championship, or will internal battles hold them back? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're curious about Hamilton's testing crash in Barcelona, check out the video on your screen now. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more F1 updates.